Hey, hey. So God is calling for us to recalibrate. I had this word in my phone for a couple months now as well. He brought it back to my remembrance that there's a recalibration going on. And first, I looked up the word calibrate, and to calibrate means to mark with a standard scale. But recalibrate means to adjust the settings of a device that measures, senses, or moves. Another word for recalibrate is to correct or amend a mistake or undesirable situation, to rectify, fix, or correct. So there are things in our lives that need a calibration check and that need to be examined and evaluated. God is about to recalibrate you. In the Bible, you see a lot of times where there's recalibration going on, where Jesus and Paul recalibrated churches. Like they went into churches and they were like, we got to get back to what this is about. You see where people have a recalibration of their mind. Um, in Revelations, it says, nevertheless, Jesus said, nevertheless, I have this against you that you have left your first love. So that's when there was recalibrations going on. Um, Peter's conscience was recalibrated about the Gentiles. You also can see that your mindset a lot of times is where the main recalibration has to happen. In Second Corinthians 1 and 2, when it says, for all the promises of God in him are yes, and in him amen, the writer had to recalibrate his thinking to overcome his anguish and things that were going on. So a recalibration is a re-examining of our lives, our logic, what's going on. And I feel like it's really healthy to recalibrate often because we can so far get so distracted and get moving and going that we become further away from what we were supposed to be doing. And so recalibration is necessary in all areas. You can recalibrate in your personal life, your mindset, your relationships with God, your relationships with people, family, friends, and recalibrate your entrepreneur endeavors. You can recalibrate work. All these areas can be areas, even your church could recalibrate. All these areas are where we have to constantly evaluate and recalibrate and re-examine to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So in the Bible, it says, let a man examine himself. Let each one of us examine his own work. So you need to ask yourself in this time, what needs recalibrating in your life? That is the first start. Stop and really think about where you started, what you're supposed to be doing, your relationships, your church, everything. Just ask yourself what needs to be recalibrated in your life. And then ask God to show you what needs to be recalibrated because we're not in this alone. So sometimes we might not even see that we need to be recalibrated in areas. And so it's important for you to go to God and ask him, God, what would you say needs to be recalibrated in my life? So he is doing a shift. If you're starting to feel different, if your opinions and your mind is starting to change about things, it's intentional because God said we are recalibrating right now. So don't fight the change. Don't fight the recalibration. You're not in this by yourself. All of us are going through mindset shifts. Everything is happening in real time. So don't push it away because sometimes we get so used to the new version that we veer off. And so change is uncomfortable and we fight that because we're trying to stay the old way. It's like you naturally want to fight what's new and what's different, but God is recalibrating intentionally. And so you didn't do all that work for you just to stay the same. You did it so you can grow, become different. And it's okay to change your mind about things. I feel like a lot of times people don't allow themselves the change. It's like you're so convinced and you can be strong and wrong, and people don't allow themselves to actually recalibrate. And so God is doing all this work in us, not for us to stay the same. It's like when people be like, you've changed, I be looking like you haven't. Like, I'm confused because we're not trying to do all this work to stay the same. And so sometimes we can't sense what's going on. Like, your relationships could be changing. There could be recalibrations going on. It might be people who left who are coming back because God is recalibrating. Like, no, I really wanted you guys in relationship. I never meant for you guys to be apart. Or there's recalibration in your relationships with your spouse or anything else. And so don't fight it, because that is what God is doing right now in real time in this season. I love y'all. Don't forget, ask God what needs to be recalibrated in your life. Love y'all.